For our last example, we are given an equation not in the transformation standard form that we're used to, but we can tell that it is a rational equation because we have a polynomial in the numerator and a polynomial in the denominator. We are asked to find the asymptotes and asked to find the intercepts. Let's do the intercepts first, as they are a lot easier to find right off the bat. So to find my y-intercept, I simply make x equals 0. I take my function and I substitute 0 for x. And then I simplify. The tops gives me a 2 and the bottom gives me a -1. So that means my y-intercept is at 0, -2. And I can plot that on the graph right there. To find the x-intercepts, I simply need to make y0. So they've already done that here for me. I'm going to multiply both sides by this denominator. So multiply the left side and the right side by x minus 1. You can see that on the right side, the x minus 1's cancel. And on the left side, x minus 1 times 0, well, that just leaves me with 0. I have 4x plus 2. Then I have, I'm going to move the 2 over to the other side, so minus 2 from both sides. Divide by 4. That leaves me with -1/2. So my x-intercept is at -1/2, 0. Let's put that on the graph right there. Okay, now we want to manipulate the function in order to make it look like this so we can see where our asymptotes are. Here they've kind of did the jump start for us, but I'm going to walk you through what happens in my thought process when I'm choosing these numbers. I split the numerator, 4x, and I'm going to give myself some space here, plus 2, all divided by denominator does not change, x minus 1, x minus 1. Make sure that the middle symbol matches on both sides. We're not changing the value, we're just changing the look of our equation. I know that I want to be able to factor out this 4 and have an x minus 1 in the numerator so that I can cancel it with the x minus 1 in the denominator. So I need to choose a number to put here so that when I factor a 4, I get a -1. You can kind of work backwards here. If I distribute this, this gives me 4x minus 4. So that is the number I want, -4. So that when I factor a 4 out, this is what I get in the numerator. Now again, we don't want to change the value of the equation. So if I'm putting -4 in it, I'm going to also do a +4, because if I minus a 4 and then add a 4, the change is 0. I haven't changed it, which is what I need. I want to change the look, not the value of the function. So -4 on one side, so I do the +4 on the other fraction. I factor it out and I can now get rid of this. And I can put these two numbers together. 2 plus 4 is 6. So finally, my equation looks like 6 over x minus 1 plus 4. And now it looks like that. So just by looking at this equation that I've simplified, or rearranged, I should say, A has a value of 6. This is a vertical expansion. H has a value of 1, so I'm moving right 1. And K has a value of 4, so I'm moving up 4. So we now know what the transformations tell us. We also know that H is now going to represent our vertical asymptote, and K represents our horizontal asymptote. So let's go back to the grid and sketch what we have here. I know my x and y intercept. I know my vertical asymptote has moved to the right 1. And my horizontal asymptote has moved 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So this is where my asymptotes are right now. Now, I could, in theory, if I wanted to make a more accurate graph, I could map some key points. I could say x, y get mapped to x plus 1 and 6y plus 4. And I could figure out what is the mapping of 1, 1, and what is the mapping of -1, -1. In this particular equation, it doesn't ask us to do so, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to use the information I have. I know my two intercepts, I know my two asymptotes, so I'm just going to connect the dots here and do my best to draw a sketch of what I know the equation is going to give me. Okay, so it's not the most accurate sketch, but it does have the key features that we're looking for. So as long as it's not asking for mapped coordinates, this is good enough. All right, so today's homework is not out of the textbook. I've attached it right in here in your workbook. So here are the questions. I believe there's like 10 questions or something on here. The last questions down here at the bottom are good test/quiz questions. So make sure you give these guys a try. All right, see you tomorrow.